Well, bakers, I have some exciting news. Need to Know, the first baking entertainment podcast, is back. After a few years of taking a break, I'm excited to say that we are coming back with brand new episodes. Please join me, Gemma Stafford, and my co-hosts, Ami Shukla and Tiana Cohn, as we count down to new episodes by sharing some of our favorites from the past.
On my way over here, I saw this very interesting news article. Basically, it all started on TikTok. Gemma's favorite, as we know. John Travolta and Tommy Lee were baking together. So basically, via the internet, John Travolta texted Tommy Lee and was like, hey, can I have your, I think it was peanut butter chocolate chip cookie recipe. Tommy Lee gave it to him. They were baking. The internet freaked out because what an interesting pair. You never thought you'd see them baking on a Wednesday night together. But here's the kicker. At the end of the video, I see John Travolta take a sip with his fresh warm brownie and his fresh warm cookie, and it was fresh lemonade. And I'm just thinking, who does that? And I wanted to know Gemma's favorite pairing, because my personal is like an oat milk or an almond milk.
Yeah.
I like a good oat milk.
That's kind of random. Because when you're pairing something, it's to complement it, right? So but that's a sugary drink.
So sugary and tart.
Citrusy and tart with like a sweet brownie. So my pairing would always be vanilla ice cream.
Okay.
I know it's not a drink, but like
Gemma's
milk.
the best taste in vanilla ice cream. I can vouch for that, you guys.
I love vanilla ice cream. But vanilla ice cream. But a drink, yes, milk.
Milk,
for sure.
Always. Okay, I just thought that was interesting. It was something that I saw, and I was like, I have to get Gemma's
Tommy
opinion.
Lee bakes?
I guess he does, and he has a great recipe.
Really?
Yeah.
And also John Travolta bakes?
Yeah, on the Wednesday night, they were just baking at home. Who would have thought? It's kind of, I
to bake with
like
those
it,
guys.
right?
Yeah.
Maybe we should have it on the podcast and learn more about the recipes. All right, so our first official hot from the oven topic this week is all about banana bread. And I found this very interesting because I feel like growing up, I always learned that you want a really, really brown, ripe banana for your favorite kind of banana bread. And this goes into basically how different colors of bananas will affect the consistency of your bread. And it all has to do with starch. And correct me if I'm wrong, but they were saying that starch breaks down and makes it more like liquidy and sugary the riper it gets. So it's better.
Yes.
Okay. So they were saying green bananas yield stiff, not a great banana bread. It's like a very stiff banana bread.
It's always best to have the black on the outside. Like, so, you've got bananas and you always say like the only thing that's good that they're good for now is banana bread.
Yes.
And the sugar has developed in them more. They're way more sweeter than the green bananas are. So they're much better for making banana bread.
I thought it was interesting too because this one mentioned that you could mix like a brown banana and a yellow banana. Because it said the yellow bananas with black spots yield a fall-apart banana bread with the most pronounced banana flavor. And so I was just interested in that. I was like, I never thought, because sometimes I'll have like 2 or 3 that are really, really ripe, and then I've gotten another batch, and they're like,
me too.
Bad.
I do that too.
And I never thought about mixing them. I just thought it was interesting. I didn't know if you'd heard of that tactic before.
I've never heard of that like deliberately. I've done that like accidentally.
Okay.
So that's interesting. You know what I often do? This is my like thrifty side coming out again.
Yes.
So when I have too many bananas, because we always have bananas here because of George, but then you only go through so many.
Right.
I always freeze them. I break them up and I take the peel off. I break them up and I freeze them for smoothies. Banana bread or my oat banana pancakes, which actually you should try.
Yes,
those.
I but I saw the photo on your Instagram and I was like, I have got to try these.
You really have to try those. They're amazing. It's crazy. There's oat flour. It's ground oats, bananas, egg, baking powder. They're insane
and not hard to make.
No, super easy. But anyway, my point being is that I always have bananas on hand. So for banana bread, so I always pop them into the freezer. So then for banana bread, I just take out my frozen bananas, I defrost them and I weigh them.
Wow, okay.
So I just use those. So they're like they're perfect and ripe. They're sweet, but like they weren't going bad. Or make your banana bread. If you're worried about the bananas, like make your banana bread, then freeze. If you don't want to eat it yet, freeze your banana bread.
Wow, I didn't
Good
know
idea.
to freeze. Yeah, and then you just thaw it. You like
freeze it. What you can do is make your banana bread, slice it and freeze it.
Oh. And then you have to like de-thaw the whole thing.
Or take or freeze it whole. And this is what I did the other day. We had a meeting here in the house, and I had to make a banana bread like a good few weeks ago for something, and I had one extra, and I froze it straight away, and so it was like freshly frozen. If that's a thing,
right?
And then I just put it in tin foil. I put it into the oven at 350. I let it kind of refresh, and it got really lovely and warm. It was like it was just freshly baked, and nobody knew that it had been frozen literally for 8 weeks.
Oh my God, 8 weeks!
I always
I'm
do
that
stuff
person.
like that.
I will bake an entire tin of brownies, and I don't want to waste them, so I'll eat them all. I can eat. Oh no, I can eat a whole pan of brownies to myself.
Really?
Oh yeah. If it's chocolate, sign me up. You know what I do to my banana bread? I put chocolate chips in it.
Your banana bread?
Oh yeah.
That's okay. I'm not totally opposed to that. That's okay.
Anything else going too far. But okay. So Trader Joe's is now selling brown butter. I have never heard of this. Like browned butter.
Browned butter, like for sauces and stuff and cookies? Are they really?
And they're selling it prepackaged. Let us know if you guys have seen it yet. I have not seen it at my Trader Joe's. But basically I was like, okay, this is great because you have to really watch butter when you're browning it. It's pretty easy to burn. Or am I wrong?
Yes, no, you're right. You're right.
And then this article is talking about how you can use it to soften in loaf cakes, cookies, scones, and it brings a really nice flavor.
Yeah, like a nutty flavor.
Okay.
But the problem is, and I still do it. Yeah. I don't brown butter because I think I go too far, and then I think I burn it.
And then it kind of have a char.
And I've gone too far, and it gets kind of gritty. So that's great. That's a really good idea. That's really smart.
Another instance of me being reckless in the kitchen, I made homemade cookies this week from scratch, and I never thaw my butter.
Thaw it?
Like I always take it right out of the fridge, which I know it needs to be in a dish. And I don't have I don't have a electric mixer. I don't have room in my apartment for an electric mixer. So I did it by hand, and it was a chunky, buttery mix, but it came out good. Gemma is horrified. I just thought I'd throw that tidbit in for you guys in case anyone else is like me. I didn't want you to feel bad.
No, you should feel bad. I'm going to take that back, Gina. If your recipe says room temperature butter, you need room temperature butter. If your recipe says cold butter, then do what
Which
you
I've never seen a recipe ask for.
No, very rarely. If it asks for melted, then you can use your cold butter. But under no circumstances are you to try and beat a cold stick of butter.
No. I'm using my hand too.
I know, with your hand, with a whisk.
Yeah, it's not good.
No,
it's not good.
Did you even attempt to put it into the microwave to soften it?
I don't have a microwave.
Oh, Gina.
And I did not put it back into the oven because we've had this conversation before.
Why would you put it back into the oven?
No, because remember I've put sticks of butter in the oven.
Oh, did you do that? Oh, you did.
Yes, and I haven't done it since because I got in trouble and I know that I shouldn't be doing that, so I haven't done that since.
No.
I'll like warm it up in my hands. I'll give it like a nice little roll.
Leave it out overnight.
Okay. Well, so brown butter is something that you would bake. I mean, that you would buy because I know that you do like.
That's a really good idea.
It's a good idea. Okay, so this one is Jemma approved, you guys.
I think it's really smart. Yeah, Trader Joe's has like. I was in there today.
It's like a toy store for food,
especially for frozen food.
Yes.
What is it with all their frozen food? I want to buy all of their frozen food. All of it,
and it's like seasonal. They've got like sweet potato gnocchi.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And they have like these like different types of like topped pizzas and quiches. Yes. It's like, oh, I love quiche.
The quiche.
And then like the little like wontons that they do.
Oh, it's endless. There's so much good stuff
I went in there today and I got like curries for Kevin and I. And do you know what? I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
The Trader Joe's, Ami, who is my culinary assistant, told me about this, makes the most amazing paratha. Indian paratha. Yeah. It is like, it's buttery. It's like pastry. It's insane. So they do good naan bread, which is really yummy.
Yes.
But then in the freezer section, right beside the naan bread, but they don't always have it, should be paratha. And you keep it in your freezer. You take it home. You have your curry. You take out like there's 5 in a pack. You take out 2 or whatever, however many you need, and you just toast them up on a pan. And it's like eating pastry with Indian food. It's amazing.
Here's my one hot take on Trader Joe's, unpopular opinion. It is a mess to shop in because
I agree with you.
I will tell you, I'll be in the frozen food aisle, which they're not really aisles, I guess. I don't know. I'll be like in the frozen food section.
Area, yeah.
And above me are cookies.
Yeah, I was just noticed that
no
today.
sense.
Yeah, I was in the freezer section today, and above the freezer was chocolate.
I just have a really hard time finding stuff.
Yeah, it's random.
I mean, they have great stuff, but I always notice my trips there take a little bit longer because sometimes I'm literally walking around multiple times to find something.
Yeah, it's random.
So it's a little random. Okay, this next one I know that you'll have a good opinion on. So Reese's Peanut Butter Cups stuffed potato chips have now been seen in the store. According to Hershey's, they're coming soon. That's what their website says. But there's been many reviews coming in that people have spotted them. I don't know if they're like doing a soft rollout, they're testing it. But what is your idea? So it's a peanut butter cup stuffed with bits of potato chip.
No.
Really?
No.
Really?
No.
Why? I thought you would like it.
I think why? The reason that you just, all those things that you just said, that's why.
You don't like
potato
sweet
chips in
delicious.
No, Gina.
Oh, delicious.
No, I get sweet and salty. Don't get me wrong. Of course I do. Like, absolutely. I love like salty caramel sauce, but I don't need to eat my M&Ms with a pack of potato chips.
Like, what about the pretzel M&Ms? Still not for you.
I don't like those.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I was excited about. Well, I am still excited.
I'm not. No. Don't get me. And here's the thing. I love potato chips.
Yeah. Just not together.
I don't need them with my dessert.
Yeah.
I don't.
I can respect that.
A candy bar with potato chips. It's like I have my potato chips and a glass of wine or something, and then later on I have a candy bar.
I'm a big food mixer. Like 2 nights ago, speaking of Trader Joe's, I found these. I think it's jalapeno and horseradish potato chips, and I was like, "Oh, these are good." And then I had sushi like 20 minutes later. I'm a big like texture mixer food. It didn't make any sense, but it was great. And then I had chocolate chip cookies. There's a lot going on. So I'm excited. I'm excited about it. And then the other thing that Hershey said that they're launching is a plant-based chocolate bar, which is interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting.
And I kind of want to get your take on what your thoughts of like how plant-based milk could change, like the texture, the flavor. I think it was with oat milk.
Oh, I have absolutely no idea. I'd have to taste I've no idea what that would be like.
Do you think in baking, have you noticed it makes a difference?
Plant-based chocolate?
If you use plant-based milk, like have you tried using an almond milk? Does it change texture?
No, like if you were to use almond milk instead of regular milk, like in most recipes, no. If it's replaced for just regular milk, like you can like. There's never really a difference. Because
I always like to try and do plant-based, but I made a homemade apple pie last week. Mm-hmm. Dough from scratch.
Did you really?
Yeah, it was really, and gluten-free dough, which was very difficult. I used the King Arthur 1-for-1. Yeah. Here's my confession, which I actually wanted to ask you about, quick tangent. I made the dough exactly how the recipe told me to, but then I didn't have enough. Is that common?
Say that again. You made the dough
exactly how the recipe said.
Yeah, and you didn't have enough.
It came out great. I didn't have enough of it, like
pastry.
Yeah, when I was putting it on the bottom of it, it was so thin, and I didn't have. The recipe was like fold it over and pinch together the sides. I'm like, half of my pie is just open. Like there's not even a crust.
That's happened to me before.
How do you fit? Is it just like?
Did you roll all of it thin enough
with a wine bottle? Because I never.
Oh my gosh, Gina!
But is that common? I felt really.
It's not uncommon. I do get. Like it's happened to me before. Like I make a pie and then it's just and they're like, use this size dish, and you're like, are you kidding me?
I was like
I
what?
There's hardly any pastry.
Right. So just roll it thinner.
Roll it thinner. You had pastry on the bottom and pastry on the top where you're supposed to?
Yeah. And then my boyfriend was like, oh, let's make a lattice design. I'm like,
that's what you do.
Do you see how much dough we have?
That's what you do when you don't have enough pastry. You make a lattice design.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I was like, I thought you did the lattice over one. Like
you can do it loose, and make some space for yourself.
Oh, I was wrong.
Saving some room.
All right, good to know. But going back to plant-based, so anyways, I used regular milk, the milk it called for, because I was nervous that plant-based milk would change the recipe.
And that'd be fine for pastry.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, good to know. All right, so moving on from the plant-based, Great British Bake Off did Caramel Week. Do you say caramel or caramel?
Caramel.
Really?
Yeah.
Pecan and caramel.
It's not. I think I feel like in America they say caramel.
Yeah, I'm like caramel. Yeah.
Like not
Caramel.
even caramel.
Caramel.
Zach's laughing.
How's your
No,
English
but in
accent?
Ireland we say caramel.
Caramel.
Like caramel.
Caramel. Yeah,
Which
yeah.
is not right either.
What is
Caramel.
it supposed to be?
Well, because caramel is... Okay, no.
Let us know how you guys say it.
But spelled CARMEL, right?
CARAMEL.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Caramel. So then we're right.
You're right.
Yeah.
So they had a whole week based off of this. So their signature was a caramel tart. Their technical was a caramel biscuit bar. And then their showstopper was like the sugar dome. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to ask you how difficult is it to bake with caramel? Like the sugar dome seems really complicated to me to get it to is it really about like the right room temperature? Is it easy to break? Because I know that we talked about the Squid Games cookies and it was that same like brittle texture.
I haven't seen the episode that you're talking about, but I'm guessing you're talking about like a caramel shape that they created over something and then
I
placed it over.
Because the photo I saw was sort of like the dome shape.
Yeah. So that's like it's just sugar technique.
You just have to practice.
Yeah, it's practicing sugar technique, and then you would take a upturned bowl or something, and you would like spin sugar over it. And
spinning sugar.
Yeah. Was it in?
Is it something that like I could do? An amateur baker could try? No. It just like absolutely not. You can't even free it in oven.
I don't think your insurance would cover that. Gina, to be honest with you.
My next caramel question. I saw that you did your caramel apples. Mm-hmm. I had a question about those, like going off of working with caramel. How quickly is dry? I guess cool is the right word, because I've made caramel apples. It's lumpy. It like slips off.
It does slip off. I don't know why it slips off.
I'm like, how do I get it to stick?
So I've made them before where it did slip off. So make sure you wash your apples.
Okay.
Did you do that?
Probably not. No.
Okay.
I'm just gonna be honest.
But I have seen it slip off before.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's the apple.
Caramel's
if it's
intimidating to me.
Or I'm not sure what that is.
So it's more about the apple than the caramel
I don't
itself.
know. I think it's the apple meeting the caramel.
Just doesn't.
But so I made it again then recently on TikTok.
Yeah, they looked great.
And those ones didn't slip off, which I was delighted about.
Right.
And you were asking me how long does it take them to set?
Yeah, like how long? Because even like with the sugar dome and this, it's a very quick.
That's instant. Like those things are instant, like minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's so hot. Like
I just
you
find
have to get them so unbelievably hot,
and then it will. Cool.
And then it cools down
and thin, right?
Well, the caramel apples, they're chewy. They're not.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. So there's caramel apples. They're the chewy ones.
Yes.
But then you have candy apples, which are the hard caramel.
I can't do those. Yeah.
That's the one I grew up with.
Really?
Yeah.
And the difference is just the way you prepare it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because candy apple is generally like sugar and water, whereas a caramel apple will be like butter, maybe cream in there. Like
Oreos,
mine is honey and butter. No, you put
M&Ms.
stuff in there. No, you don't do that, Gina.
I do that.
And it's a chewy one. So there's
I prefer that. I prefer that one. But I just found it interesting, even with this Great British Bake Off episode, because I was like, it still amazes me how much you can do with food. Like one thing, caramel, you can make so many different recipes with it, which I find fascinating. All right, so this next topic is all about that drawer underneath your stove, or I say draw, but...
You say draw?
Yeah, it's the Bostonian in me.
Draw?
Yeah, I've always said draw.
How do you say roof?
Roof.
Oh, okay.
Not like rough.
Rough.
No, I say roof, but I say draw. I say wicked a lot.
Yeah, I've heard you say that.
Okay, yeah.
Why do you say car?
Car. I've really tried to change it because everyone made fun of me for saying draw. Like, especially when I moved here, people were like, "What are you saying?" But drawer. Yeah, that's a hard one. So this drawer that I don't know if anyone else feels this way about it, but I've never really known what to do with it. Even back home in like my childhood kitchen where I grew up, I think it was technically, my mom would do like steak tips in there sometimes, but it was mainly storage. Mm-hmm. So first of all, broiler, pretty straightforward. That one says that it's on a gas stove, and basically you do like steaks. Is that sort of just like for cooking for meat? Do you broil? You don't broil baked goods. That's a dumb question.
You don't boil. What? You don't. No, you don't.
So if you have a broiler, it's really, you can only use it for food.
For food. Grilling.
Okay,
Grilling.
grill. Okay.
Like, I mean, so we don't, in Ireland, you'd call that like, put it onto the grill. We don't call
even
it a
if
broiler.
it's the drawer?
No, we don't have those drawers.
Oh.
Yeah, they're so.
Do you have one here? I'm like,
no, because
she
we got
doesn't.
new ovens.
Right.
No, that thing,
They're
that's
not
so bizarre
chic.
to me.
They are not chic, if you ask me.
It's very old school, I think. Like when I lived in San Francisco, I'm pretty sure they had one down there. It's also, for those of you who don't know, it's like a broiler for like a grill in the bottom of your oven. It's so bizarre.
So weird. You have to bend down.
It's bizarre.
Like, not fun.
I had no idea that was a thing.
Yeah. I used it as storage.
I use it as storage too.
It's like that dark place in my kitchen that I'm like, I'm just not going to go there or bother with it. So in an electric oven, usually a warming drawer. And why I think I had questions about this, because on Great British Bake Off a lot, I'll see them like throw things in the warmer. Mm-hmm. Is that right? So is that same thing? Like we can, because here we go. I baked that pie the other week and I made it like well before dinner and I just kept it in the oven. I turned the oven off. But I was like, oh, this is my best bet. But then I realized I probably had a warming drawer. Yeah. And I was like, is this a separate dial on my stove? Like, I didn't even know.
I don't know about that.
I'll have to look into that.
But yeah, use your warming drawer for plates.
Oh my gosh.
My mum always said warm plates, warm food.
I've never warmed a plate.
Oh, sorry, warm food, warm plates.
Yeah.
Always warm your plates. Yes.
Do you do that often?
Every meal.
Wait. Like, what are you doing with your
plates?
plates?
In the microwave.
What?
Yeah.
I have never.
You're putting hot food on cold plates?
Always.
Gina.
I have never heard of someone warming their plate.
Do you ever make a cup of coffee and heat up your mug? Or a cup of tea?
I mean, I've done that. Yeah, with my tea. Yeah.
Same deal.
Wait, so how long do you put them in the microwave for?
Like 30 seconds.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah, like maybe 45 seconds or so. I get them nice and warm because my food's going to stay hotter longer.
That's genius.
In kitchens, you
I've
always
really learned
serve on
a
hot
lot.
plates. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So it's the same thing.
All right, well, that's something I'm going to be implementing, except I don't have a microwave, so I'll stick them in the oven.
Stick them in the oven. That's what I do also after your oven, when you're letting your like food rest, after it's come out.
Yep.
Pop the plates in there.
While
Don't
it's
forget
cooling
about
down.
them.
Yeah.
Then just give them there a few seconds and they'll be good.
Wow, great tip. All right, and then the last thing that we obviously all know it's used for is a storage drawer, which is where my cast iron that I no longer use is there.
It's hidden.
It's hidden in that dark drawer.
It's dying.
Yeah. All right, so that wraps up a grain of salt for this, or our hot from the oven this week. We're moving on to a grain of salt. Gemma is going to tell us if these are fact or fiction. Our first one is adding vanilla extract at the end of the recipe is better.
Yes.
Really? Mm-hmm. I am like very overzealous with my vanilla. I'll do like 2 tablespoons of ask for one. I love the smell, the taste.
I do too. I'm very like a liberal with mine. But you generally, when it comes to making a custard, ice cream base, creme brulee, you generally will put in extract once that whatever your mix has come off the stove, has come off a flame, has come off stove top.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're making cookies,
right,
add it in whenever.
But
when you're making when you're making a sauce, take your caramel sauce and it has vanilla and salt in it.
Okay.
Take your caramel sauce off the stove. It's done.
Right.
Then add in your salt and vanilla.
And so you're not like burning off.
You're not cooking off the flavors. And then also it's just like hitting it at the right time. You don't want it in there too early. You're going to lose your flavor. So put it in at the very end.
Have you ever over vanillaed something?
I don't think so. You can never over vanilla.
Right. That's what I thought too. I'm like,
love
I don't
vanilla.
even think, oh, me too. I'm right there with you. Next one is your recipe is ruined if you don't... I'm laughing because this one might be from me. Your recipe is ruined if you don't separate wet and dry ingredients.
No, it's not ruined.
Because when I was making cookies this week from scratch, I know I did everything so correctly. I had the dry ingredients in one bowl. I had the wet ingredients going in the other. And then I forgot that I didn't have brown sugar, so we had to run out and get that. And when I came back, I accidentally put the brown sugar in the dry ingredient bowl, not knowing it's supposed to go in the wet ingredient.
It's not always. That's a.
I was so confused.
That's not always the case. Not always the case. So it depends on what your recipe says.
Okay, and then I
Not the end of
was
the world.
freaked out. I was like, "Oh my God, I just ruined my cookies."
No. That's not the end of the world.
Okay, so good to know. If you guys have ever done that, I'm right there with you. Our last grain of salt is the kind of sugar you use doesn't matter, which we touched on a little bit, but
No,
like
that's not
stevia
true.
or
No, it does matter. Yeah.
totally matters.
Yeah, it does matter.
And it's not one for one,
Not one
as
for
we've
one.
learned.
No.
So always do your research with sweeteners and sugars. Okay, so our last section is going to be Ask Gemma. These are questions from you guys. Tips and tricks on working with yeasted dough from Kathleen Crick 20.
Tips and tricks for working with yeasted dough.
Yeasted dough.
That's a loaded question. Because
Does yeasted just mean
dough made with yeast?
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's oh my gosh. So like there's so many tips and tricks when working with yeast. Number one, keep your yeast in your fridge. It stays fresher longer.
Gemma's the mother has been feeding in her fridge for
That's my starter. That's my starter.
Okay.
My dried yeast I keep in a tub in the fridge. It lasts way longer because you know the way some people only make bread every like 6 months and they go to use their yeast and then it's out of date and it won't work if it's out of date.
Oh, okay.
So keep it in your fridge. It will last so much
these are
longer.
one of the yeast is an expiration date that you need to pay. You really need to pay attention to. Okay.
Absolutely. And once it's in your fridge, it will last. I honestly, no joke, I've kept mine in there for a year.
Wow.
No joke. Wow. And I'm going to be totally honest with you. Definitely longer than that.
I love it. I love it.
And I still use it.
See, you're also reckless in the kitchen sometimes.
No, I'm not reckless. Not like you, Gina.
Yes, they're very different.
You're lawless.
I am a little bit lawless. Okay. How to store cakes and cookies from Samit Karnarula.
How to store cakes and cookies. I'm a big fan of a sealable Tupperware container. Yes.
I'm a big fan of the no store. I'm just going to be honest.
No, I like just sealable, nice big containers.
I leave mine out. Is that awful?
Do you cover them at all?
No. Like the cookies I just made, I kid you not. I'm not even just saying
you just,
this.
Like leave them
They're
out,
on the
like
plate.
willy-nilly.
Oh yeah. There's no. The more I'm saying this out loud, the more horrified of myself that I'm becoming. But yeah, totally left out. They're not covered. Because, I'll wake up for breakfast, I'll roll out of bed, and I'll be like, oh, I could have a cookie for breakfast right there.
Yeah, but then you just say, oh, I'll open up this tub that I put them into.
I'm all about convenience. They're not in the cupboard.
Gina, you just go by the beat of your own drum.
Yeah, I do. So don't listen to me. Get a sealable. I mean, definitely for a cake. You can't leave that out.
Remind me never to go over to your house because I literally would have a heart attack. I would. I'd probably drop dead in
don't
your
come
door.
into my kitchen. Our last one, perfect cake tin size for 12 brownies from Janine Jordan 123. That's a good one.
Oh, 9 by 13.
Wow, you did that
Boom.
wicked fast.
Yeah.
That's
9 brownies, 8 by 8.
wow.
Yep.
How bad is it to make a
Gina, what do you want to say?
How bad is it to make a brownie? I swear we're done after this.
In a round cake pan.
Oh, well, yeah, I've done that in a loaf pan.
Oh, it's not the worst thing in the world.
Because I read another one, which was like, I don't remember if it was a question from someone, but I saw it today. Do pans really matter? Does pan size really matter?
It does. It goes back to those laws that normal people follow, Gina, where it's just like, just do what it says in the recipe.
I often make my brownies in a round
Are you
cake
the person
pan.
that emails me giving out to me that the recipe didn't work? And then when I do a little bit of digging, I find out that you did it in a different container.
Yeah.
That it wasn't even my recipe.
Me.
That you replaced the sugar for cream. And
I like to keep people on their toes. But what I will say is I own that I'm not the best, and I won't be cooking for a big dinner party anytime soon, hopefully, That's for Gemma.
Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this classic episode of Need to Know. And remember, brand new episodes are coming your way this September, so get ready.